Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
This is the 17th consecutive week new claims for unemployment insurance have surpassed 1 million. Layoffs are occurring as coronavirus cases are surging in much of the country and businesses are facing renewed restrictions. And those layoffs come as a financial lifeline for the unemployed is ending. The $600 weekly payment from the federal government is scheduled to expire at the end of the month.
Oh, Nelly, what do you do? That is a very real question. What do we do? Government, what do you do? Federal government, what do you do? People are looking at you. Are you going to have a second lifeline for people? Now, I do believe there's going to be a second stimulus, but a lot of Republicans, and quite frankly, I'm at the position where at what point do you say, well, we can't continue to give money to people and have them not work? And not only give them money, even if they could work, incentivize them to not work. What is the point? Well, I mean, we're shutting things down. Look, this government is spending absolutely out of control. Before coronavirus, we were out of control in the spending. But now we're in a situation where we're asking and telling places you've got to shut down, and the states don't seem to care. And this is very interesting. Peter Schiff owns, I think it's Euro Capital, economist, used to live here. He got famous for going down to Occupy Wall Street back in the day and talking to all the occupiers about capitalism. And he said something that was very interesting when it comes, in retrospect to what it comes to the state and what states are doing.
If the state of California is going to order businesses shut down, and then the state of California wants to provide some kind of economic relief, let California do it. And let California impose higher taxes on whoever they think should fund it. We can't just use the Federal Reserve as a piggy bank. The Federal Reserve cure is going to do more damage than the coronavirus disease. And I think if the states knew that they would have to bear the economic consequences of their own decision making, they would do a better cost-benefit analysis on what they shut down and how they do it.
Oh, yeah. When it's not your money, who cares? I think that's a very real thing. You know, everybody's screaming, the states, the states, the states, you need to do this, you need to do that. Go ahead, shut things down. Okay. Shut things down. Because you're not paying for it. Look, we're printing money at an alarming rate. We're going further and further into debt. It's an ugly look, and the cure on this side in the coming years is going to look uglier and uglier once we get through this, and we will get through this. But if we created something that is so nasty in the short term without really fixing the issue, let's be real. I think we'll get a second stimulus, meaning people out there are going to get another, check, but I don't think you're going to get the extension of benefits. And if you do, it may be half of what it is now. We're going to feel the might of the evil, as some people are already saying the banks are going to be, when people are going to see foreclosures, people are going to see evictions. Yesterday, the three biggest banks said, look, we have a slush fund, a safety fund of $28 billion sitting here because we're seeing how much debt people are in. And we know that they're going to start to default on these things, and we have to CYA ourselves in this situation. He continues.
Right now, every state is like, oh, let's shut everything down, and the federal government's going to bail everybody out. So we don't care if we put people out of work because they're going to get these enhanced benefits from the U.S. government. Oh, we don't care if we shut down businesses because they're going to get these PPP grants from the government. But if the federal government let every state know, look, you make a decision, you handle this the way you want, and you pay for it, right? So you do a cost-benefit analysis, because thinking that everything is free, that is the problem. People have no idea. We are going to get such a massive economic collapse, far worse than what I thought was coming, when I did your show last few times. This is going to be much worse. We are compounding the mistakes of the past with much bigger mistakes. I mean, if you think it's bad now with the civil unrest, it's going to get a lot worse when there's no food.
Peter Schiff, smart dude. And I think that's right. It's like everything else. You spend other people's money in a much different way than you spend your own. And you see that in a lot of things. You absolutely do. That's why I'm always, how people treat other people's stuff to me says a lot about who they are. You ever loan somebody a car and they return it to you and it's a mess and it's nasty? You're like, ugh, I'll never do that again. You ever loan somebody your car and it comes back, the gas is full, your tank, they've washed it, even if they only used it for an hour? You're like, oh, who out there, perfect example, right? Like a rental car, you'll drive to, you don't care, it's not yours. You may pay a little bit, but it ain't yours. This is things that we need to worry about because going forward, we're going to come out of this at some point in time, this coronavirus mess, and we're going to look up and we're going to say to ourselves, my God, we're going to be paying for this. Our kids are going to be paying for this. And we've put ourselves in such a nasty position that we'll ask ourselves the question, because there's going to be a lot of questions asked when we get through this thing. People are going to look at the death rates. People are going to look at a lot of different things and say to themselves, wow, we probably shouldn't have done that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. To mask or not to mask. This is the battle that goes on a daily basis. This is Buffy Wicks and Florida Rep Anthony Sabatini talking about the masking. To mask or not to mask?
Do you wear one at the grocery store? Absolutely not. I maintain social distance, though.
Okay, but according a new study, a good study out of Japan shows that indoor transmission is almost 20 times higher than it is outdoors. So when you go into a grocery store and you're not wearing a mask, you're comfortable putting workers who work there and other patrons at risk by not wearing a mask?
The studies that I've seen, the studies that have been most popular over the last 100 days of this crisis have said mask or social distancing.
Mask or social distancing? Mask or social distancing? Which one do you do? I social distance by nature. That's kind of who I am. You listen to the show, you guys know that. On the other side of things, if they ask me to mask up in a store, I do it. Why? Because I'm cordial. I'm nice. It's what they've asked me to do. It's a store. I'm not an idiot. I'm not going to sit here and pick a fight. And that's what this has become. Like I said yesterday, it's the woke virus. You've got right versus left over things like mask. And it shouldn't be an either or thing. It should be, how can we stop the spread of this thing in the best way possible? But I'm here to tell you this. As more and more states now, yesterday, Alabama, Kay Ivey came out, mandated masks. People are looking around and you're seeing more and more states mandate masks in public places. You go to the grocery store, things like that. And a lot of stores on their own were doing that. Walmart announced that they were going to, mandate that if you're coming in the store, you got to wear a mask. I was in Walmart last weekend because I'm very rural. So all we really have around us is kind of a Walmart and the town next to me is like 10, 15 minutes away. And it's got about 60,000 people or so. So we've got our stuff and every store that I went into, and I've been in two in the last 3 weeks, I would say a majority of people, like 85 to 90% of the people, were wearing masks. Except for, and the ones that weren't, I didn't say anything. Some people kind of gave them looks. I'm like, get over it. And kids, obviously, because under 5, they say that's just, it's so hard. Jack wore a mask for 10 minutes into a store, and I just thought it was like the worst experience I've had with him in forever. So good luck with that in school. But this is what we've become. How do we get past this? Well, it's political. So it's tough to get past something when all people want to do is argue about whether or not to do it or not to do it. I always say I'm not looking for the government to tell me what to do and what not to do. I'm about what's my personal responsibility? What is this store asking me to do? Now, if you come into my house, if you come into my backyard, if I'm out working out, like yesterday, everybody's like, so you go work out in between shows. Some of the people here said, did they make, do people see you and make, say something about something? I'm at a park by myself. There's nobody around. Yesterday, there was one person, and that was the person who worked there, who was putting up yellow tape on all of the, the equipment. It's got some workout areas, and it's got a basketball court and a, place that kids can play and, not to cross, because apparently that's deadly in 120 degree heat. Whatever. I said, no. Now, if a cop stopped and said, you need to wear a mask, you're out here working out, I'd say, kiss my ass. So nobody's around me. I'm by myself. If I'm on a walk, leave me alone. There's ways of going about doing this with common sense, but we've now made everything like we do. We push and we push and we push, and it's this way, it's that way. People become contrarians. Look at this study, look at that study. Which study do you believe? It's all about science. You idiots out there don't believe in science. And then you give somebody a juxtaposing position based on another piece of science. And who do you believe? Depends on what your belief system is at the beginning, because you're going to gravitate to the science or to whatever it is that makes you feel like, oh, I'm justified in my belief. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Speaking of Twitter, yesterday they were hacked. It was a Bitcoin hack. It's very interesting. It's very, very interesting in what took place. So they hacked Elon Musk and Bill Gates, Obama, Biden, a bunch of big people, and it was it's kind of funny.
It's sort of out of the playbook of China, Russia, and some other places. And for a multitude of reasons, money obviously being one, but that even could be a front to do other things. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. And who knows if we ever find this out. But everybody's like, why would they want Bitcoin? Because a lot of what people were getting, and if you had a blue check, it was tough to tweet at all during a certain part of the day. But a lot of what you were seeing was, if you send me $1,000 in an hour, I'll send you back $2,000.
If you look at ransomware, malware, things where people hold data hostage, they tend to ask for payment in Bitcoins, because if they're good, the way they cover it, it's very, very difficult to figure out who the money actually goes to at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's why they use Bitcoin. But it was I was laughing. It's crazy stuff that people were tweeting out. And then it's weird because it's hard to tweet, hey, this isn't me, when your Twitter doesn't at that moment belong to you because somebody else has it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. I slept amazing last night on my purple mattress. So let me tell you something. If you listen to the show, I don't sleep very well. I've tossed and turned, and I've used several different things that have improved sleep. But when I got this, it was incredible. So it shows up easy, this purple mattress. I open it up, and it's just, wow. It's got this purple grid. And I tell you, I put it to the test because I turned off turned up the air to like 82, like the first day or so I had it, and took a nap because it says you're never going to sleep too cold or too hot. Wanted to put it to the test. I slept great. Continue to do so night in and night out. 2,800 open air channels, naturally temperature neutral gel. It's just amazing what Purple has done with this mattress. If you are like me and you've had trouble sleeping, you've tossed, you've turned, or maybe you get an okay night one night, but there's no consistency in it, Purple is it. You're going to spend a lot of time on your mattress. Why not make it comfortable? Firm where you need it, soft where you need it. It is incredible. 100-night risk-free trial, free shipping, free returns. I wouldn't tell you to go try something if I thought it was junk. And this is anything but that. It is the next evolution of sleep. Try it now. Go to purple.com/Benson. Use promo code Benson for a limited time, $150 off any Purple mattress order of $1,500 or more. That's purple.com/Benson. Promo code Benson for $150 off any mattress order of $1,500 or more. Terms apply. Chad Benson Show.
Check out our Chad Benson Show Facebook page where you can hang out or hang your grievances out to dry. This is Chad Benson.
Without a hesitation.
Without a hesitation, yes.
Would you let your kids go back to school?
I will. My kids are looking forward to it.
Yes, period. Absolutely.
Absolutely. As much as I can.
Without a hesitation.
Without a hesitation, yes.
I have no concerns about sending my child to school in the fall.
I would let my kids go back to school.
Dr. John Torres, NBC News.
They all said yes.
Yeah. So MSNBC asked parents, doctors, teachers, hey, would you let your kids go back to school? And a majority of them said, absolutely. Based on the data we have. And it's funny because I talk about this and then I get hit by a bunch of people like, well, that data's not right. That data's not right. Where'd you get that study? I said, well, there's the French, it's the Swedes, it's several other countries that have already gone back to school. Because remember, a lot of the European schools, they shut down early and then they reopened, and some never shut down at all. There's not been any chaos or craziness. Kids aren't really affected by this the way that adults are, and there doesn't seem to be widespread transferring of the virus from children to adults. And I know here they're talking about in Arizona, we had a teacher who passed away with COVID. And it's been this big thing of, this is why kids shouldn't return to the classroom. There were no kids in the classroom. She was with two other women. They were wearing masks and socially distancing. There were no children, and everything was done online. Plus, she had tons of underlying conditions. It's awful. It's so funny. It's the always either or scenario. My thing is, how can we do the best to protect people without destroying people? But you can't do that because, once again, the virus has become woke. So you're evil and bad if you want to open up the economy. And on the other side of things, if you want to close the economy and protect people, people think, well, you're just a wuss. It's not that way. Let's just be smart about it. If the masks work, we shouldn't be closing things down. If they don't work, then we shouldn't have to wear one. I think that's a fair thing to say. Well, they're not 100% effective. Nothing is. Nothing is. Nothing is. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program as well. Love hearing from you. We do have an election still coming up. I think we need to touch on that a little bit because based on the new numbers, Trump's getting boat raced. It's the Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Another 1.3 million Americans filed new claims for unemployment insurance last week, about the same as the week before, and steady at a staggeringly high level. The picture on the retail front was a little bit better. Retail sales in June were up 7.5%. But experts point out that's a lagging indicator and may not account for the resurgence in coronavirus cases in much of the country.
Absolutely. Think about this. And foreclosures, August 1st. Look for that. Evictions in many states yesterday, being tax day, a lot of those moratorium on evictions have expired. And we're a couple weeks away from the expiration of that $600 extra from the Fed that people are getting expires. People have spent money. A lot of people have spent money. Hey, you know what? They were making $15 an hour, then they're making $21 or $22 an hour, and they've got some extra money, and they don't have to worry, and they went out, and they probably didn't do some responsible things. Some people did. But at the end of the day, that's going to go away. Then what? Now with the resurgence, states are closing down again. States are looking at the federal government to bail them out. Now what? That's a great question. I don't know. But 1.3, while it's gone down for the last several weeks, the reality is it's 1.3 million people that filed. PPEs are running, and the PPPs are running out. A lot of companies aren't going to even look at doing anything other than shutting shop for a while. Some are closing down for good. It's a mess, and it's going to get worse. Eventually it'll get better. And hopefully we learn from this lessons. We put money away. We start to realize, hey, we can't do these kind of things. Peter Schiff, economist, he's on Joe Rogan. And I like him because he's a straight shooter. He's an interesting character. But he talked about like California and other states. And hey, you know what? If the feds weren't there, would you be doing things differently when it comes to shutting things down?
If the state of California is going to order businesses shut down, and then the state of California wants to provide some kind of economic relief, let California do it. And let California impose higher taxes on whoever they think should fund it. We can't just use the Federal Reserve as a piggy bank. The Federal Reserve cure is going to do more damage than the coronavirus disease. And I think if the states knew that they would have to bear the economic consequences of their own decision making, they would do a better cost-benefit analysis on what they shut down and how they do it.
Yeah, that's probably true. So if I knew that I, being a governor, would have to say, okay, feds aren't coming in, so we're responsible for this. So if I shut everything down and I eliminate the tax income coming in and we exhaust our rainy day fund, we're going to be in a position where we have nothing. We have massive unemployment. And while we may be saving lives, which is a great thing, we could be costing lives, which is not a good thing. Where is the balancing act when you're the one who has to write the check? I think that's a very interesting take. I don't know what the government's going to do. I do not believe there's a lot of Republicans out there that are resisting not a second stimulus, but a second round of $600 a week because they believe it's a disincentive to go back to work. And I think there is absolutely something to that. Absolutely something to that. But when states are closing down, it's hard, to say, hey, you can't work and we're not going to give you money. Now, the states will still pay their unemployment, but in a state like here where I'm at in Arizona, it's like $280 a week. Can't live off that. So what do? Now, I could be wrong. They may say we're going to re-up for till the end of the year, or another 3 months for the $600 a week. The feds, they may say, we're going to cut it in half. We're going to give people another round of stimulus. The Republicans will supposedly unveil theirs in the coming days. So we'll see. It's going to be interesting. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. All that going on. The debate of coronavirus. How's Trump handling it? The economy. I can't blame Trump or anybody for the economy at this point in time because we're in the middle of a pandemic, and I don't care if it was Barack Obama, Ronald Reagan, Grover Cleveland, who had the famous sayings of all time. The people should support the government. The government should never support the people, meaning money-wise. I don't care who it is, right? Like Abraham Lincoln, Washington, Kennedy. It's a pandemic. All of that being said, we do have an election. And the numbers out right now aren't good for Trump. But I don't know what that really looks like. You think, oh, well, the numbers weren't good before. Well, these numbers are a little different. I mean, you can look at these numbers and say, in some of these things, it's an ugly look. Wall Street Journal, NBC poll, 50% of the people that were polled, 50% said they will not vote for Trump. 36%, I think, said they won't vote for Biden. And then, of course, Kanye dropped out. But apparently he's going to be on the ballot in Oklahoma. I don't know how that works. Whatever. So what's going to happen? Trump still needs that middle independent voter, that Democrat that voted for Reagan, that Democrat that's a Democrat, but a lot of that's based on stuff like unions, strong middle class. He needs that. And then there's the chaos side of it. So you've got the pandemic, you've got the economy, and then you have the chaos. It's tough to tell.
The quaint downtown square of McKinney, Texas promises historic good times. The good vibes have been smothered by the historic coronavirus. The pandemic is casting a long shadow over the 2020 presidential election.
I think the whole COVID thing's being used as a tool to divide us as a country instead of coming together, which I think is really sad for our country.
Well, we do that. I mean, the media plays into it, but we're also easy to divide. It's not hard to divide us. You just have to throw anything out there and we'll figure out a way to divide ourselves.
Margie Schreier and Kelly Tallow both support President Trump and say he's done an honest job of handling the pandemic.
I think he's probably doing the best that he can right now. I mean, there's so much mixed information out there, and trying to decipher what's fact and what's fiction and where it's coming from. It's tough. I wouldn't want to be in his position.
Although I don't always like his decisions, I think his intentions are always good. I think he gathers the information and he makes the decision for our country and not for an ulterior motive.
I think he does it for Trump as much as he does it for anybody else. But I do believe he loves our country. I've never once thought Trump doesn't love our country. I think Trump loves our country. I think Trump does do Trump things first. But name a president that really doesn't do things based on re-elections and things of that nature, what's best for them and their party. I don't think here's the thing with Trump. Trump's not a nice dude. He's not mean in the, he's not that. I've always said people want this empathetic person in a time that you think, well, we could use some of that. We've had lost 130,000 plus lives to coronavirus. It's ravaged several large communities across this country, and that is sad. And people look at Trump and they want that leader that shows that. Trump's not the empathy guy. He's not. He's your stoic grandfather that thinks, just stand up and wipe the dirt from your knees and get on with life. He's not that cat. And he's not a feelings guy. And he's rough. And he says what he thinks. He does. He says what he thinks, which gets him in a lot of trouble. It does. Let's be real.
McKinney, Texas is one of the historically conservative big city suburbs where political analysts say Trump is vulnerable. And it's the kind of area Joe Biden is now targeting with a new television ad.
This virus is tough, but Texas is tougher.
Recent polls show Trump and Biden locked in a tight race in Texas. Of course, the idea of a Democrat winning Texas is still viewed with high skepticism. But there is a strong wave of anger toward President Trump among some Texas voters.
How do you think President Trump has handled this pandemic?
Failure.
Yeah. And I'm fine with that. I think you can look at a lot of things that Trump has done that has not done any of the things that it should do. You said it was going to be gone by April. You said a lot of different things. You fighting with Fauci in public. You're telling the CDC, hey people, you send your stuff to us. Let's bypass the CDC. You've got your talking headpieces, Peter Navarro, who's out there basically just saying, I don't believe a word that Dr. Fauci says. You've got all of these things going on, and that is not a good look. And it has been a bit of a failure. But I can also look around the states and said, look, governors have failed everywhere. But Trump as a leader's got to do better. He does. And I know you don't have that empathy thing as much as other people do. But in a time like this, you better figure out where it is where you can feel like, you know what? I can show some empathy and some feelings here. You're not going to make everybody happy. There's a lot of people out there that just hate you. And no matter what you do, they will always hate you. They will. But yeah, if you can't be honest with the person that the president, as a voter, if you only think that he does right, you're fooling yourself. Nobody's perfect. And you should be able to criticize the president. And let's be real. Everybody who's dealing with this right now as a leader, by and large, most of them are getting it wrong, if you will. And why is that? Because there's no playbook. And that's the thing I think I have a lot of problems with. Here in my state, Ducey doesn't have a playbook. His playbook's been nil. It's, we'll see what happens. I'm just going to ignore. We're going to talk about some good stuff, and then I'll bring up some charts. And you see a lot of that stuff. That frustrates me. And that frustrates a lot of people. And I think Trump has had too many missteps, but that's Trump. Trump's talking only to his base because the other side hates him.
failure, total failure. His actions and lack of actions have exacerbated the effects of the pandemics on all Americans.
He's not taking responsibility for anything that he does. He always blames someone else.
He said, those are the things, which really bothers me as a citizen, that he really takes it very lightly.
I don't think he takes it lightly. I just don't think he doesn't respond the way that you want him to respond. And I get that. That pisses some people off. Right? For the right, when Obama was president, he didn't respond in ways that you wanted him to respond, especially in certain situations that, militarily, we're going to draw the red line. In several other ways that he responded, and it didn't work. I get it. Trump's an interesting character, but he's got a long way to go. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You can tweet at us. You can text the program. Love hearing from you. We'll see what takes place. Again, we're really far away from the election based on a news cycle and how much we cram into 24 hours. And at the same time, it is coming at lightning speed. And things could change. We could be at a situation where this thing explodes COVID 10 times worse than it is now. We could see it dissipate through August and essentially disappear, and the economy could bounce back. And then people start asking the question, well, who's best for the economy? Is it going to be Trump? Is it going to be Biden? Trump's a jerk, but we're a long way away. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Times are changing. A lot of you want to social distance. I get that. Also, you're doing 10 times more because you're trying to be a teacher, mom, dad, you're still running your business, you're doing everything, and oh my goodness, the thought of going to the store and buying anything, and it's just, how about this? HelloFresh. With HelloFresh, you get 22 curated recipes each week, including low-calorie, vegetarian, family-friendly options. So you can, like surf and turf. They got craft beer and taste tours, gourmet feast. You don't have to worry about the never-ending meal plan. Recyclable packaging, and you're going to save money. How much? 40% versus shopping at your local grocery store. It is awesome. So easy. Got the recipe. You just follow the recipe. It takes about 15, 20 minutes. Within about 20 minutes, you're ready to roll. And the great thing is you can change your delivery days. You can add extra meals. You can skip a week. Whatever HelloFresh is there for you to do, flexible. You just give them a call and you let them know, hey, can you do this? Can you change that? They want to fit your lifestyle. Get started today with America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com. Use promo code Benson for $80 off, including free shipping on your first box. The promo code is Benson at HelloFresh.com. $80 off, including free shipping on your first box. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
Being antisocial sucks. Hang with Chad's friends on Facebook, The Chad Benson Show. And if you just need some alone time, head on over to Twitter at Chad Benson Show. Either way, we can't wait to meet the real you.
Here's a good story. A little kid named Bridger. Right? Bridger Walker, 6 years old. He's out there in old Wyoming with his sister. She's younger. Dog launches to attack. Bridger gets between her and the dog and takes the brunt of it. Gets torn up from the floor up. 90 stitches on his face. 90. The skilled plastic surgeon did all of the stitching and everything. And it's a story of somebody, look, a kid did something absolutely loved his sister. Boom. Stopped it. Now, of course, the stars are getting involved. I want to say a little thank you. Chris Evans.
This is a message for Bridger. Hey, Bridger. Captain America here. How you doing, buddy? So I read your story. I saw what you did. Now, I'm sure you've heard a lot of this over the last couple of days, but let me be the next one to tell you, pal, you're a hero. What you did was so brave, so selfless. Your sister is so lucky to have you as a big brother. Your parents must be so proud of you.
Yeah. Awesome. Chris Evans not finished there. Captain America, as you know.
I'm going to track down your address, and I'm going to send you an authentic Captain America shield because, pal, you deserve it. Keep being the man you are. We need people like you. Hang in there. I know recovery might be tough, but based on what I've seen, I don't think there's much that can slow you down.
That's right. Awesome. His parents talk about it. And they said people want to start a GoFundMe. Their parents were like, nah, give it to Wounded Warriors. There's other good charities you can give it to. On top of that, people were asking, well, what about the dog and the owners? And the parents were like, they love Bridger. They treat Bridger amazing. This has brought us closer together. We hold no ill will to them whatsoever. I know this is a crazy concept in a world where people can't even scroll past some sort of tweet without being offended and losing their mind. But it's refreshing to know that not only is there kids and people out there that do selfless things, but even when sometimes something happens and it's unfortunate and it's bad and there is a true victim, that they get over it. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. It's the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
This is the 17th consecutive week new claims for unemployment insurance have surpassed 1 million. Layoffs are occurring as coronavirus cases are surging in much of the country and businesses are facing renewed restrictions. And those layoffs come as a financial lifeline for the unemployed is ending. The $600 weekly payment from the federal government is scheduled to expire at the end of the month.
Uh-oh. What then? I think it's a fair question. What then? Republicans are hesitant to extend $600 a week in benefits to the unemployed. They're talking about a second stimulus. But what then? What happens if they say, we're going to give you a second stimulus? So we may give you, $1,200 again and the same kind of thing. And that's it. We can't go into debt anymore. We're printing money. The dollar's just about ready to go. We've got a stock market that is built on a house of cards by overvalued company and the continual, pumping in of money into the marketplace by the feds. So what do we do then? And I think that's a fair question. This coronavirus craziness. Is it time we rethink this? And this whole, okay, we've been shutting things down, but we need people to mask up. Maybe it's time to say what I've been saying. I could be completely wrong. What I see is a hodgepodge of stuff that varies at different states that have gotten bizarre results. The West wasn't hit very hard at the beginning of it. It's getting hit hard now. The East Coast was crushed. California masked up pretty much a good portion of the time, shut down, and for the last month they've been masked up, and at the same time there's massive spreading going on right now. Arizona did a great job at first. Now, here's the thing. Did you do a good job, or was it really not here in the community spread kind of way? That I don't know. Some people say we need a federal mask mandate.
A study conducted by Goldman Sachs concluded that a federal mask mandate, that's if everyone in the nation had a mandate like we have in Michigan, like they adopted in Alabama today. If everyone had that, we could save the U.S. economy from taking a 5% hit to our GDP.
Gretchen Whitmire, is that true? Well, Goldman Sachs did it. It's got to be true. So I'm totally fine. Look, this is the way I look at the mask thing. we've gotten to where we've made this the woke crazy, like, oh my God, this is it. This is the wokeness of it, and this is the way you need to deal with it. And if you go outside without a mask, you're a racist and you're evil and you voted for Trump. If you wear a mask, somehow that you are, wimpy and just a sheeple. The mask mandate, every state is going to do their things. Georgia's governor said, yeah, we're not doing that. In fact, I'm going to do an executive order that prohibits counties and cities from ordering a mask mandate. I think that's stupid. I think cities and, let them do what they want to do. Businesses. It's your business. If you want people to wear a mask in your business, you can ask them, hey, if you're going to come in here and shop in here, wear a mask. I would rather at this moment in time err on a little bit of the side of caution and say, mask up, wear a mask when you're in a public setting. And I'm not talking about public. You're at the park by yourself with your kids, you're on a walk. Don't wear a mask. You're an idiot if you do. And if somebody tries to tell you have to, you tell them to kiss your ass. Tell them Chad said, I told. But if you're going into a store and they're asking to wear a mask, smart thing to do. It's about respecting the other person. That's all it is. We shouldn't turn this into something completely ridiculous. And by doing so, though, I would say, if we do this, if I'm running a state, and I'm not, because they're like, you can't run a state. I'm like, why? Because you're an idiot. I said, all right, I'm good with that. I would say we're not shutting anything down, but we are going to require people to wear masks when they're out in public and they're inside stores. We're going to require that. When you're in a group, we're going to ask you to wear a mask. If you're outside, you're at a park with 5 of your friends, no. Right? I'm not going to ask people to do that. But you're in Walmart, you're in a Target, you're at a Kohl's, Costco. Some of them already have mask mandates. We're going to ask people to do this. And in doing this, though, and masking up and saying this is what people say is the most important thing, social distancing and this, in doing this, we are not going to shut anything down. We're going to keep things moving. We're going to keep things motoring. We're going to keep things going. We may limit certain occupancies at certain things. We may limit a few things here and there, but we're not going to go for a full shutdown. Shouldn't be so hard. It shouldn't be, but it is. And we've turned it into the most ridiculous thing of all, because that's what we do. We take something, we make it political, then we figure out how to make it not only political, but an issue that needs some sort of social justice. Then we make it racial and or racist, and away we go. Enough. And I wish governors would just get on the ball at some point in time and start taking some stuff and saying, this is what we're doing. This is how we're going. If you really believe that social distancing and mass work, you shouldn't be shutting a damn thing down. And if you're apprehensive about the science of it and whether it does or doesn't work, obviously social distancing, by not being around a lot of people, you're going to reduce your chances of getting something. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's the flu. I don't care if it's whatever it is. But if you believe those things, washing your hands, social distancing, and wearing a mask reduces this thing tremendously, then there should be no reason to shut down. And if you don't really think that's the truth and you're really not sure about it, then telling people they have to wear a mask, that's just stupid. And I do believe there is a breaking point. And I'm going to tell you when that is. I told you there was a breaking point when we first got shut down, and you saw it. After about 5 weeks, that point came. If we're here a month from now and a majority of the states have masked up, have made it mandatory, and 90 to 95% of the people are continuing to wear masks everywhere they go, and they continue to see a rise in numbers, you're going to start to see people say, screw it. It doesn't seem to be helping. You don't seem to know what you're doing, so I'm not going to do this. And that's not, right now you're getting the people that are screaming, oh, you're taking away my freedom, blah, 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 blah. You'll get people that are like, I thought I was doing the right thing, but you're an idiot and you don't know what you're doing and you know what you're talking about. So no, I'm not going to do it anymore. And that'll be a majority of people. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us and text the program as well. Love hearing from every single one of you. Of course, you got the other battle going on between the White House, Dr. Birx, Dr. Fauci, the CDC. Fauci came out yesterday. Peter Navarro is come out and hammered Fauci, works with Trump, says, nah, this guy doesn't know anything. He's been wrong about everything. And it's just been it's so weird. Fauci then said,
I can't explain Peter Navarro. He's in a world by himself, so I don't even want to go there.
And I'm totally fine with that. I don't understand a lot of what's going on either. We should be on somewhat of the same page. I mean, we can't be on the same page at the federal level and the state level and the city level. It's just, this is why when you're looking for leaders to lead, sometimes you realize, it's a great saying we should say in England is we fight like lions, but unfortunately we're led by donkeys. And I feel a lot of times we're kind of led by donkeys. We really are. Mitch McConnell, how do you feel about Fauci and Birx?
Confidence in Dr. Fauci at this point?
Total. And we, like all of you, had never seen anything like this before. We're not totally certain of what to do other than to turn to the healthcare experts that we can depend on, and that's Dr. Fauci and Dr. Birx.
Yeah. And Fauci's been very honest, and I've said from the beginning about Fauci and he's been honest about the stuff he's got wrong, and there's been some stuff I've questioned, like the mask thing at first, and he also came out and said there was nothing to worry about early on, but he said, we don't know a lot about this. And the one thing I think we all know is we really don't know, and the fact that it's novel is also, like, every day we're finding out something new about this that we didn't know the day before. Every day we're finding out something a little bit different. Didn't know that. Know that now. We're a long way away, I think, from getting back to where we were before, but we better start figuring out how we move in a succinct way and start actually paddling and rowing in the same direction, because I feel rudderless, not just at the federal level, also at the state levels, and I'm seeing that across the country. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at us. Apparently, more Russia. So the United States, the UK, and Canada has said Russia's trying to hack in and steal vaccine information and get all the information they can about the coronavirus. Because I don't know how bad it is over there. I bet it's obviously far worse than they're leading on, but that's what they're doing. Why make it for yourself when you could steal it? They're like, hey, China does it all the time, so we should totally be on that. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show, Twitter. Tweet at us. Check out the old Twitter and the text line. And that is the text line when people leave the horrible message about why I don't answer the phone. Because it's a text line. That's why. Just want to point that out. Oh, man, Raycons, best earbuds around. They're incredible. One of the guys I enjoy watching, Reptile Wise, he uses the Raycons. He was talking about how awesome they are. They really are. And what I love about them is they're comfortable. They don't hurt your ears. You don't take them out afterwards and feel like, ugh. These E25s, they last a long time. 6 hours talk time. Quickly charges up. More bass, compact design. The seamless Bluetooth is awesome. And what I love about it is, so when I'm working and I'm video editing and I'm doing other things, I can have it in and it gives me a nice noise isolating fit. I can also take one out and be able to carry on a conversation. It's so awesome. Normally you pay a couple $100 for something like these. These are compact, amazing, and the price is right. Well under $100, and you're going to save 15% on top of that. It is simple. It is easy. Go to buyraycon.com/Chad. Save yourself 15% for the best earbuds around. Period. Case closed. End of story. You'll ask yourself when you get them, how is this so cheap for something so amazing? Buyraycon.com/Chad. Buyraycon.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Give me your
bowl of chili with plenty of peppers.
One Mexican heartburn. Why don't you mugs grow up?
The Chad Benson Show, where independent, a la carte thinkers have a seat at the table and a voice in the dialogue.
I'll have what she's having.
This is Chad Benson.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Ignition. Liftoff.
Now it's time to find out what's trending. What's trending? Yeah, what does that mean? I mean something, right? Like it's trending on the old internet. What's trending? Craziness, chaos. What else would be trending on a day that's full of craziness and chaos, which is every day? Twitter, the hack, Apple, Biden, Elon Musk, Barack Obama, just name a few, were hacked by Bitcoin thieves. Could be the Chinese, could be the Russians, could be some guys in Slovenia or Albania. You don't know, but they did it. They did it. Crazy. Top of that, Goya. People are mad at Trump because him and his daughter have appeared holding a can of Goya or eating Goya beans, and people are like, oh my God, well, they got what they deserved and Trump shouldn't be doing that. And I'm like, they supported the president? And then people wanted their business destroyed? Like, how is that, like, in any way, shape, or form, how is that normal? Like, what about that's normal? Okay, you don't like the fact that he has a different point of view as the CEO than you do, so you want to destroy his business because you're somehow feeling woke. In a pandemic, they shouldn't be doing this. Took 2 seconds. Get over yourself. Good God. Asheville, North Carolina approves steps towards reparations for blacks. People are like, well, how's that going to work? They're not talking about paying individuals. They're talking about taking money into disadvantaged neighborhoods and communities and putting money into those communities, which we've been talking about for a very long time that they should be doing. Dan Snyder, owner of the Redskins. Now, producer Phil, is this supposed to come out tomorrow? Is that what I'm hearing?
Either supposed to be today or tomorrow, but it looks like it may get bad for the Redskins.
Yeah, apparently it is an ugly scandal that may pop out that includes things like, so the Redskins are going to change their name, so they're just the Washington team, a football team of Washington, D.C. now, whatever they're called. Top of that, Dan Snyder and the Redskins apparently have some issues with alcohol, potentially drugs, prostitution. I mean, it's, and you don't know exactly what it is because you're hearing, like, I'll look at 3 reports and I'll get 3-4 different things that are put in there. But it is a scandal that could get super, super ugly. And could this be the end? I mean, you know, here's the thing. Could this be the end of him? And could this be one of those things they've been looking at? Like, hey, this is great. We got all of this. And it's supposed to be a bombshell. They say what's coming is disappointing and sad. That's what ABC's Jason Lacaforia say. Former beat writer. They said it's sickening and what's going to be exposed is ugly. Ooh, I can't wait. Juicy. What do you bet Amber Heard and Johnny Depp are involved?
Dixie to go comes to
Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
How much of it is due to behavior of children, not staying at home, getting out and being exposed? How much is from older family members who are getting back to social life or going back to work and bringing it home and infecting children? But the bottom line takeaway is that we need to remember that children can get this infection too. And while most of them will do well, that's not true for every child.
No, it's not. I think we know that. It's also the flu is not good for children. Less than 2% of all, and I'm talking all, global reports of COVID are children. And as far as death goes, it is minuscule. I mean, so small. We had a child that died here a couple weeks ago, and if that child would have probably got the flu, same. He had so many underlying conditions. Well, Chad, that's all the more reason that we shouldn't allow kids to do anything. What? We don't. The flu is dangerous for the kids, more dangerous than this, based on data that we have. Now, that data is new, but we can't wait 20 years to get the data to decide whether or not we should send kids to school or not kids to school. And I will say this, and most of you listening understand this, even people that are apprehensive to do that. If you have a child at home going 4 or 5 months without really doing anything, stop playing sports for all intents and purposes. For the first couple weeks, it was a novel idea. Here they are, though, 3, 4, 5, 6 months into it, some of them, and it's starting to show on them mentally. Big time. We want to send the kids to school safely. We also want to send teachers and staff back to school safely. That shouldn't be an either-or kind of, what are we, Lord of the Flies it? It's just, okay, kids, here's the deal. You guys teach yourselves. Which is kind of what's going on. If some schools, a majority of schools across the country were not prepared to go online. I was very fortunate. My son, Jack, his school is a STEM school, very, very, very driven academically, the staff as well. It wasn't perfect, but compared to a lot of others, like my little brother's schools and everybody else I basically talked to, it was so much better. It was. How do we get to that point, though, where we can start to send kids back to school in a safe way? Because we need to start figuring this out sooner rather than later, because time's approaching. And I do believe in some of the bigger cities, especially with stronger unions, you may not see kids back in the classroom this year, and maybe not until the following school year.
Children need to be in school. They need to be learning. But it has to be done safely, not just for the children, where most of them will do well, but teachers and staff have to be safe.
Yeah. And not only that, it's not just about the safety. And I think this goes along the way of even when it comes to our economy, which is teachers and staff have to feel safe, but also in the economy, there also needs to be that sense of safety. Not just, hey, I'm safe, I know this. There's a psychological aspect of feeling like you're not going to your doom. And part of that is the fact that you turn on the television, if you watch any of the news, it is only doom and gloom. There is no aspect that seems to have a silver lining. And that if you get this, the chances of survival are slim to none. I'm going to give you guys just a snapshot of the reality when we're looking at the numbers. And I'm not trying to take away anybody's pain, but we're not talking about, like, one of the things we're not talking about, and I've said this on numerous occasions, is how many people today are going to die from heart disease, how many people today are going to die from cancer, which is still more than COVID. But I'm going to give you like just a snapshot of numbers when you look at something and put into a little perspective. of while this thing is annoying and it is big, we have to recognize that it's not the 100% killer that I think sometimes the media and people portray. Doesn't mean we're not smart. Doesn't mean we don't worry and take into effect that this thing can spread faster than the flu. But how do we even know that? And that's one of the other things that I was talking about to Dr. Carmona, who's the former Surgeon General. How do we really know what that would look like? Because with the flu, what do we have? We've got a vaccine, which really reduces the spread of it. But when you look globally at this, and I kind of like to look at stuff in a global sense as well as us, we're under still 1% of people that we know of that have been affected. And on a global scale, it's even less than that. So on a national scale and a global scale, it's minute. How do we keep it that way? Give people confidence to get back out there. That's the next step. And that's by being smart, understanding that if you're a leader of a state or a nation, that you've not only got to worry about the health of that nation or that state, but you've also got to worry about the financial health of that station and aid. And you want to be able to give people the confidence that, hey, you know what? I'm doing everything I possibly can. The store's doing everything they possibly can. The chances of me getting this are slim by doing these things. So you should feel secure to go back out and do those things, which includes becoming part of the economy again. Because if you look at the economy, well, kids, guess what? More jobs lost.
Another 1.3 million Americans filed new claims for unemployment insurance last week, about the same as the week before, and steady at a staggeringly high level. The picture on the retail front was a little bit better. Retail sales in June were up 7.5%, but experts point out that's a lagging indicator and may not account for the resurgence in coronavirus cases in much of the country.
Yeah. You've got to not only have a plan when it comes to taking this thing on and stopping the spread, which I think everybody, whether you're on the right or left, unless you 100% believe it's a hoax, wants to see done. And on the other side of things, you also want to be in a position where you can instill confidence that people, we're not shutting down the economy, that while we're going to make some subtle changes and even some big changes in the way that we do things, outside of that, it's going to be somewhat business as usual in a safe manner. And I don't see anybody anywhere really kind of doing anything that instills that confidence here in my state or in any of the other states across the country. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me. You can text the program as well. This is funny. So we joked, we called her Bloody Mary. Mary Trump, she's got her book out. I don't know how I'm selling. I'm sure it's selling like hotcakes because anytime you have a chance to say the president's horrible, people are going to go buy the book. And then one of the big things that took hold early on was he paid somebody to take his SATs. Paid somebody. That's it. He paid somebody. So somebody asked her the question.
Wild allegation in her book that he had paid another kid to take the SATs. The White House said that it's absurd and that it's not true.
Can you prove it's true?
Can I prove? No, because I'm counting on people I trust who told me this story. So in terms of documentation, no, I can't prove it.
So it's just an allegation. Can you prove it's true? No. End of that discussion. That's what it should be. Well, I have good authority. You vote on good authority because the one person that everybody kind of pointed to, his widow said, no, that's a lie. So who, we're not asking for your sources, but it feels like you threw something out there salacious that is, you can't even come close to proving it's true. And you would have think by now, right? You would have thought at some point in time, somebody else would have come forward with real credible evidence and said this. It's like when you hear this, oh, this is bombshell. When do you hear these things? And then you're like, okay, well, we're waiting, right? Everybody's waiting for all of the Tom Arnold. We're still waiting for. We're all waiting for those things. Where are they? And I don't care what side of the aisle you're on. Where are they? Where's those bombshell moments? Can you prove it's true? No.
But I can certainly say with 100% certainty that I was told this story by a source very close to Donald.
Yeah, I'm not buying it. Sorry. Street 50 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show's your Twitter. Feel free to tweet at me, text the program as well. Speaking of Twitter yesterday, hacked. That's not good.
It's sort of out of the playbook of China, Russia, and some other places. And for a multitude of reasons, money obviously being one, but that even could be a front to do other things. We'll just have to see.
So you had Apple, you had Obama, Elon Musk, numerous, Biden, the whole nine yards. All these people were hacked and they took over these accounts and they were chasing down people and anybody who would throw some money at something in hopes that they could convert it to Bitcoin and steal your money. And I'm sure somebody did do something yesterday because people are gullible.
If you look at ransomware, malware, things where people hold data hostage, they tend to ask for payment in Bitcoins because if they're good, the way they cover it, it's very, very difficult to figure out who the money actually goes to at the end of the day.
Yeah. So everything seems to be back to normal at this moment in time, but we shall see. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program, follow along. Love hearing from every single one of you. You know, as we talk about the economy, you know, the dollar is getting crushed, and with the inflation, the fact that we're printing so much money, we're devaluing it, there's a chance that we may no longer be the reserve currency in the coming years. Gold and silver is a perfect place to be. We've got an overbought, completely inflated stock market that is precarious at best. It's volatile. What are you doing? It's time to look around and say, what is the place that I can go where I can keep and diversify my investments over here, but also diversify them outside of that? Gold and silver. Valor Gold Group has a time-tested strategy that will help you protect in times of inflation and potential crashes. On top of that, it takes advantage of the volatility and the uncertainty. Call 800-202-6936. Trust me, your portfolio, your nest egg, your retirement will thank you. Gold and silver also qualifies to be added to your IRA. They've got 50 years of experience. And it's not just experience like we're going to go on our guts. Yeah, they look at charts, they do all kinds of stuff, but they also have algorithms. They've combined the old with the new. You're going to get an exclusive copy of the number one way to protect your wealth with confidence. I'm telling you guys right now, protect yourself. Diversify, diversify, diversify. It's the smart thing to do. It really is. 800-202-6936 or go to valorgoldgroup.com, VALOR, goldgroup.com/Chad. ValorGoldGroup.com/Chad. Protect your wealth and retirement today. ValorGoldGroup.com/Chad. Chad Benson Show.
Warning, no snowflake zone. Uninformed opinions are in danger of melting. The Chad Benson Show.
If you listen to the Chad Benson Show, you know one thing. I love to bring you real, honest conversation. I'm also very open about things that make me happy. Hallmark is doing it again.
Yeah, it's mid-July, but Hallmark is getting into the Christmas spirit, announcing that despite the COVID-19 pandemic and production shutdown, it plans to match last year's record output of holiday movies, 40 new films.
Christmas is about love.
Including Christmas in Vienna, starring Sarah Drew, which debuted its trailer Wednesday. Some of the movies finished shooting before the shutdown, with production ramping up on the rest, and they're hoping to have plenty of movies to unwrap for the holidays.
Few things get me as excited as my Hallmark holiday movies, and I will watch the hell out of them. I will. Man, usually around, September, October, they start to release the states, they're going to start playing stuff. And then that week before Thanksgiving, they'll have, or so, they'll have that, hey, the Hallmark movies, these are from last year and the years previous. And then they'll have one or two on that Thanksgiving weekend, and then that's it. I'm just rested, relaxed, and focusing big time. Big time on things that matter. And we need it this year more than anything. Speaking of need, we need sports. Ed Ogeron, the head coach of Ed Ogeron, head coach. I love it. Play LSU, win football games. The national champions LSU said, hey, sports needs to come back. America needs sports to come back. Brian Kelly, who's the coach of Notre Dame, said,
well, again, I think we're in unprecedented times. I think it takes a number of things for us to change what was existing in the BCS agreement. I think if we're going to do it, this is the year to do it, to create an excitement around this game. We need this for a lot of reasons. The psyche of our sports, our student athletes, our country. And if we can create more excitement around it, I don't think that you'll have a negative vote about it.
No, and I think he's right. I think we do need it. I think of all of the things, football is the one thing that if we lose football, I think, because I don't think anybody really cares if baseball comes back unless you're diehard. Basketball, we got through most of the season. It's shut down. Hockey, does anybody really care? European soccer leagues are just finishing up. But football, we thought, well, we'll get through this and we'll still have football. I don't know if we will. And then you have to ask yourself the question, if you're a player this year, you've had no time to really train, you don't have spring practice, you haven't had any of the things you normally would, and you're looking around saying, do I really want to do this? And if they delay this till next year and they want to have football come February, March, would I even think about playing right before the draft?
Conversations have already taken place with the parents and agents are certainly talking to them about the eventuality that if this season goes late, maybe you should forego your last season. So it's already in the minds of some of the players. So if this season gets pushed off, if certainly it's in the spring, then it's in the hands of what the NFL is going to do with their draft.
And here's something else. I just, if I'm Trevor Lawrence, knowing I'm going to be the number one pick in the NFL draft, and I'm looking around, and this would be my third season, which means I'm 3 years removed from high school, which makes me draft eligible, and I'm not quite sure about it. I'm sitting this year out. I'm working out privately, and I'm getting ready for the draft. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at me, text the program as well. 'Tis the Chad Benson Show.
This is the Chad Benson Show. Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
Another 1.3 million Americans filed new claims for unemployment insurance last week, about the same as the week before, and steady at a staggeringly high level. The picture on the retail front was a little bit better. Retail sales in June were up 7.5%. But experts point out that's a lagging indicator and may not account for the resurgence in coronavirus cases in much of the country.
What does that mean? I don't know. I at this point, you don't know. You have no idea what any of this looks like going forward. Do we have a plan? Depends on your state, right? Brian Kemp, Georgia, says, nah. No, you don't have to wear a mask. And if anybody tries in any city or state tries to mandate it, I'm going to shoot that down with my executive order. If you're in California, you thought you were doing okay. Arizona, same thing. Texas, thought you were doing okay. Next thing you know, you've got an explosion of cases. You're behind the eight ball. Your governors don't seem to have a plan. The plans they do have are, well, one is we're going to go back inside minus a few things in California. In Arizona, useless. The plan is, that was the plan right there. And Abbott's trying everything he can to make sure that things continue to move forward, but you just don't know. It's frustrating. It is. How about this? We all take a little personal responsibility. We social distance as much as we possibly can. When we're in a setting where we can't, how about you wear a mask? Well, Chad, that takes away my freedom. Get your head out of your butt. How about you wear a mask? How about you do that? And this is about you taking personal responsibility. I'm not talking about if you're inside your house and you know these people and you want to hang out with them, that's on you. But I'm just saying, if you're in another position, how about that? A little personal responsibility and doing the best we can to slow the spread down isn't going to rob you of your freedom. If they come into your house, let's say you're in your backyard, you got family over, a little barbecue, but you don't have 100 people over. You got like 10 people over, family, a couple friends, and you're all chilling in the pool, and you have the masked police and the social distancing police kick in your door and make everybody but one person get out of the pool and everybody wear a mask, then we have a real issue that we need to talk about. But if somebody asks you to wear a mask at Costco, you know what? You can mask up. We've turned this into a battle when it shouldn't be a battle. The battle should be against, if we fought this hard to try to sort this mess out and get our economy roaring again, get people back to work, take stress off people, if we fought this hard as we fight with each other, I think we'd be doing something. But
Do you wear one at the grocery store? Absolutely not. I maintain social distance, though.
Okay, but you know, according to a new study, a good study out of Japan shows that indoor transmission is almost 20 times higher than it is outdoors. So when you go into a grocery store and you're not wearing a mask, you're comfortable putting workers who work there and other patrons at risk by not wearing a mask?
The studies that I've seen, the studies that have been most popular over the last 100 days of this crisis have said mask or social distancing.
You know, it's funny. A good study. She says that. A good study. Because normally we just give you crappy studies that fit the agenda we have. But a good study says that masks work. Do I think, and here's the other thing, and this is what masks aren't going to protect you if the virus is out there floating around. The reality is, unless you have the N95s, it may slow it down, but the N95s will, for all intents and purposes, stop it. The particles, they say, are just, it's so small that the virus is able to get through. What you can do by wearing a mask, though, is protect other people. And that's it. It's not about stopping the spread. It's about slowing it. And that's what it's all about. And I think if we do that, and we have a governor or two or three that have a plan that sounds something like this, shouldn't be so hard for me to come up with this. Guys, I'm going to ask everybody to wear a mask. I'm not trying to take away your freedom. I'm asking you. I want to get people back to work. I feel if we social distance, we wash our hands, and as much as possible, and not just when we go to the bathroom, but maybe, you know what? Maybe you go and you grocery shop. Maybe before you get, after you put your groceries away, maybe you wash your hands. Little things like that. And on top of that, you wear a mask when you're in public, in places where you're going to be around people, to do the best they can, not only to potentially stop the spread of this thing and mitigate it. Doesn't mean it's going to stop it completely, but also to alleviate fears. We can keep things open and keep our economy moving forward. It won't be perfect, but if we can all do that, I think we're going to be okay. But instead, we get none of that. We get fighting, and I'm never going to wear a mask because it take away my freedom and my soul. Every time I put a mask on, you steal my soul. And the other people are like, if you don't wear a mask, it's only because you vote for Trump and you're a racist, and that's what Nazis would do. It's not a winning formula. Stupidity. But what can't you do? Huh? Can't fix stupid. Do a lot of things. Can't fix stupid. All of this, if we did all of these it's little things, right? It's like, hey, how do you lose weight? Work out a little bit more, eat a little bit less. Calorie deficit. Over a period of time, you'll see a change. Unless there's something truly wrong with your body, you'll see a change in your body. We're not doing any of those things. Like I said, there's a difference between having respect and saying I'm doing my part as a citizen, as an individual, as a human being, taking personal responsibility to try to slow this thing, give people comfort, and people taking away your rights, saying that, hey, I've got a right to not wear a mask inside Costco. Actually, like I continue to say, if Costco wants you to wear a top hat to get inside, that's their rules. They can do whatever they want. Okay? And what are we getting? We're getting businesses crashing. Commercial real estate's about ready to fall off the map.
They are opening at a fraction of their capacity. For others, they're not so lucky. I'm standing in front of a 24-hour fitness. This is one of 100 locations set to close permanently because 24-hour fitness filed for bankruptcy due to the pandemic. And the fact that these fitness centers are closing could have a negative effect on commercial real estate property across the country.
You think? Absolutely. It is going to have a negative effect. Commercial real estate's already struggling, and that bubble's been bursting, and now you throw this in?
Before the pandemic, many businesses were downsizing or moving online, so you had landlords of commercial property seeking out these fitness centers as safe havens, or we can even call them anchor tenants in shopping malls to bring traffic to that area. But the fact that many are closing, like Gold Gyms filed for bankruptcy in May.
Health clubs were filling those at a pretty rapid pace, and so it has really been a shining star that has helped energize retail centers.
Yeah, that's going away. And now they don't know when they're coming back. And if you go and look at all of these things, what's the best place you can be as far as, a rating from 1 to 10, 10 being the worst and 1 being the best of chances of catching something like the coronavirus. The gym is, at the 8, 9 level. And they'll argue we're as clean as anywhere else. And other people say it's evil, it's bad. Here's the reality of it. They're going away and they're not coming back. And I drove by my gym where I normally go and work out that's been closed. They were open for like a week and a half and they had to shut down again. And they've decided they're going to close this one here, which sucks for me. And the one out by my house, which is about 15, 20 minutes away, they've already decided that that one is done with as well. It sucks. It does. And you don't realize the trickle-down effect of, hey, wait a minute. There was 1,500 to 2,000 people that were coming here on a daily basis, and now they're not going to be coming here, sometimes more, in an area where this took up 65% of the room. Do you know how many commercial places I drive by that are completely empty? And I look at this, like 23,000 square feet available. I'm like, who's getting that? Who's buying that thing? Who's renting that thing out? Then you throw in this. This pandemic is changing everything, including the way we work. Here, so I do my national show, and then I do my local show. I do my local show with KTR Bonneville, and my national show, it's my show. Here, we were talking to one of the big guys, and he said, this changed everything. They're looking to eliminate 75% of space, consolidate down, and that the majority of the people that are selling, because they really kind of don't need to be here, probably won't be returning at all. And if they do, it'll be a capacity of maybe 1 or 2 days a week they'll come into the office. Outside of that, you're going to have office space that is just going to be out there. Trickle-down effects. It's going to be crazy. It is. It's just the beginning. And the good news is there's good out of that as well, because we can reduce our carbon footprint. We can have people work at home. It's going to give people more flexibility and freedom to do certain things. Technology is paying off there, but there were investments that people made for decades that are coming to an end, and it's going to be not a soft landing. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. You could tweet at us. We have, I don't even know how to describe this. We're going to talk about the Starbucks barista that people tipped to the tune of $100,000 because a lady was denied service because she wasn't wearing a mask. And wait to hear what she's doing. Oh, my goodness. HelloFresh. Here's another thing that's going to be changing. HelloFresh is amazing. The food is incredible. And guess what? It's contact-free, meaning it comes straight to your door. You don't have to worry about any of those things. It's going to save you up to 40% versus shopping at your local grocery store. And you get to choose from 22 chef-curated recipes. And what I love, so the other night I got it. So they give you all the stuff. You got fresh meat, fresh vegetables, not packaged vegetables. Inside of a paper bag, recyclable paper bag, fresh vegetables. Like, it's awesome. They give you the recipes, but you can kind of throw your little twist on it, and it's simple and easy. It's like putting a puzzle piece together, and there's only a few pieces, and it's easy to do. And at the end of it, you're going to eat the puzzle, and it's amazing. HelloFresh is changing so many things. They're flexible to fit your lifestyle. Maybe you want to skip a week. Maybe you want to add some extra meals. They got low-calorie vegetarian. They've got family-friendly options. They got gourmet burgers. I mean, you name it, surf and turf. They've got it all. And it fits with what you need. Get started with America's #1 meal kit. Go to HelloFresh.com. Use code Benson. It saves you $80 right there off your first box, and you get free shipping. The promo code is Benson. HelloFresh.com. HelloFresh.com. Save $80, including free shipping on your first box. HelloFresh.com. Promo code Benson. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show, where we reach across the aisle and occasionally poke someone in the eye.
If I were president today, I'd be directing the federal government to provide you with the regular testing, rapid results, and protective equipment that you need to keep you safe.
All right, so that's what you'd be doing. That's what he was going to do. If he was president today, he is doing that.
All those blue-collar workers who got fed the line of malarkey the last 25 years by the Chamber of Congress that organized labor is their problem, all of a sudden they're figuring out, I'm not a labor union member. Why do I have to sign a non-compete agreement if I make hamburgers and I want to go from one place to another?
Need more unions? He's going to be unioning up. That's what he's going to be doing. He's coming out. He's going to take care of everything. What else would you do, Uncle Joe?
It's not just calling out President Trump for his failures. For God's sake, they're so well known. We know them. You live with them. Or lost a job or lost a loved one during this pandemic because of those failures. This election is about real solutions to rebuild, to come back stronger.
I'm sorry, I can't do it with Joe. And somebody said, because I joke about Kanye, but I'm not happy with either of the choices. I'm not happy with either of my choices. I think a lot of you feel that way as well. But I listen to Joe and I see the people behind him pushing this insane agenda. And I think to myself, I can't have that. There's just no way. You know, that Project Lincoln that goes after Trump all the time, which are a bunch of conservatives who are, they're conservatives and they're never Trumpers.
Because of the unprecedented action that President Trump took, it is among the reasons why the threat to Americans of coronavirus remains low. And I have to tell you, standing here today, I couldn't be more proud to stand alongside this president. We believe we are slowing the spread. We slowed the spread. We flattened the curve. We saved lives.
I think by Memorial Day weekend, we will largely have this coronavirus epidemic behind us.
So they're using now Pence's words against, and the whole thing is to get rid of Trump Pence, to eliminate them But they're pouring a lot of money into Senate races and doing all they can because their ideal thing that they would love to see is get rid of Trump altogether, rebuild the Republican Party, give it 4 years of Biden and the loony left, but doing so by strengthening the Senate and winning back the House. So there's no real damage done, and then bringing somebody in 4 years from now that is a true conservative Republican. I don't know. I don't know how you do that. Here's the thing. When you got in bed with Trump, he changed so many things, and that includes the party. And I think the left is going to figure that out when they get in bed with the farther progressive left. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson shows your Twitter. So she went to Starbucks. They wouldn't serve her. She got pissed, took a picture, did what you do, which is go straight to social media. Something happened, and now she's pissed and wants something. Talk about it straight ahead. Chad Benson Show.
The Chad Benson Show.
Independent thoughts, independent life. This is Chad Benson.
And I wanted to bring awareness about the discrimination.
Amber Gillis says she posted this photo of barista Lennon Gutierrez after he asked her to wear a mask at Starbucks. The caption reads, "Meet Lennon from Starbucks who refused to serve me because I'm not wearing a mask. Next time I will wait for cops and bring a medical exemption." That post exploded online. Then a GoFundMe for tip money for the barista surpassed $100,000. Gillis says she has medical problems, but also says masks are not effective.
One of them, I get shortness of breath, dizziness, and it messes with the heartbeat.
Well, maybe you shouldn't be outside at Starbucks. Now, you hear this, right? So you hear this. So this was a big thing. This was when it first started, this whole mask, not mask. The barista says, I'm not going to serve you. And he gets $100,000 in GoFundMe. By the way, if you give any money to somebody like that for a GoFundMe, you're an idiot. Just want to let you, just throwing that out there. I mean, there's worthy situations where you could go, I could help out. But I don't trust 99% of that stuff.
And I do have asthma as well. So I do get maskne. So there's several things going on. And not only that, it doesn't even work.
She did share 2 pieces of paperwork to show what she calls a medical exemption. This 2015 doctor's report she shared shows analysis of her uterus and an ovarian cyst. And this handwritten note with the San Diego chiropractor's letterhead that she asked us not to show says she has, quote, underlying health conditions that prevent her from wearing a mask.
Did you like that, Phil?
That was fantastic.
I can't wear a mask. Why? I have uterine problems. I think you're wearing your mask wrong, ma'am. That's a thong. There's more.
She says her post about the experience is a First Amendment right.
It was discrimination, and everybody's okay with it and enabling and rewarding that kind of behavior.
And she says she wants half of the more than $100,000 donated, which was given to the barista in cash last week.
I don't care if he gave it to Lennon. I'm going to sue him for half of it.
She says the lawyers she's spoken to about taking her case are expensive and she can't afford one yet, so she started her own GoFundMe to raise money for herself.
She's a disaster.
When asked if she has any apology or message to the public.
No, absolutely not. I feel like I need the apology. I've been discriminated against. I'm the one who's sick.
She's awful. She's awful. I don't think she's all there. I can't wear a mask. Well, I have hemorrhoids. So I don't think you're wearing the mask right. It's not a laughing matter. It is. She could get Ovid, which is ovarian coronavirus. Not Ovid. My God. Do you see? You see what happens? We let stupid out. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. We asked her for medical proof. She gave us a pregnancy test. It said negative. She said, see? It was positive. It didn't work. What are you doing with your mask? 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program as well. Nick Cannon fired. So if you haven't heard Nick Cannon, it was really interesting. So Viacom and CBS fired him. And he kind of picked up where Deshaun Jackson, the football player, left off about African Americans, Jews. It was well, I mean, and whites. I mean, it was very much a bizarre rant that he went on his podcast.
If we were truly the children of Israel and we're defining who the Jewish people are, then we can see that there is no hate involved. When we talk the lies, the deceit, how the fake dollar controls all of this, then maybe we can get to the reason why they wanted to silence you, why they wanted to silence Minister Farrakhan, and they want to throw that we are having hate speech. Can't be anti-Semitic when we are the Semitic people, when we are the same people that they want to be. That's our birthright.
So that's your, so he's into the black, I think it's the Hebrew movement. So that, and starts talking about the melanated people.
I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear, acting out of low self-esteem. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people, they had to be savages.
So white people and what we would consider Jews are savages. And it was a rant. Talked about the Nordic and that they were essentially stupid, and it's bizarre. It is so bizarre. And it's just, again, in this day and age, look, everybody's got free expression of thought. I got zero problems with it. Would I have I think Viacom wanted to give him a chance. They said, well, he's shown no remorse and he will not apologize for it. So they let him go. Oddly enough, he's on The Masked Singer, and Fox said, no, we're going to keep him around. We're not going to get rid of him.
Listen, Nick is my guy. I hate it had to be him, but that's what you can do when you have the power. And if it's one thing Jewish people have showed us is they have the power. I can't wait until the day black people are able to fire people for saying things about us that we deem racist. We can barely get cops fired for actually killing us. They fired Nick for referencing a theory written by a psychologist, on racism. Also, though, if you're going to have that conversation, have it with a Jewish scholar. Have it with a rabbi. Have it with someone from that community, so anything you say that's not accurate, they can correct you.
Yeah, that's Charlemagne the God talking about that. And it's funny because we live in a world where cancel culture is canceling everybody, and the left is starting to realize that, and they're like, wow, I can't believe I said something, got canceled. I mean, here's something. You want to talk about craziness in cancel culture, right? I don't know. I doubt many people saw this, but San Francisco has a museum of modern art. Gary, I think is Garrels. He was the senior curator of painting and sculpturing at the Museum of Modern Art there. And he is not there anymore, right? A group of former employees started a petition demanding that he resign or be removed from his post. Why? Because he said we need to buy and have more art of people of color in here, but I'm not going to stop buying people who are white. I'm not going to stop buying that art. I'm not going to exclude them from consideration. That's all he said. Didn't say anything crazy, right? Didn't do any of those things. And It's just insane. It's absolutely ridiculous. They said his removal is non-negotiable in the petition. He has toxic white supremacist beliefs regarding race and equity, directed his position curating the content of the museum. Huh? Yeah. You got another lady who has ginger beer. She has dreads. She's white. She's got dreads. You can't do that anymore because white people have never had dreads. In fact, nobody else has ever had dreads. The Celts, the Celtics, the Irish, they had dreads. But that's then you're talking like BC. That's baloney, Chad. You're full of lies. The Greeks had dreads. Yeah, but no. Middle Eastern culture throughout but no. So this Rachel Marshall, founder of Rachel's Ginger Beer, she penned a long apology for her harmful hairstyle. She's now aware that African Americans are discriminated against and mistreated for having dreadlocks, vowing to lop off her own. It's nuts. Look, I'm not for cancel culture at all. Look, he's got a belief system. If that's his belief system, Nick Cannon. But it's when you start to say you're this, and we're just gonna, you're not going to stop buying art from white people. Well, you're a white supremacist, and we can tell. What? Like, what are you talking about? That's insane. You've got dreadlocks. You should get rid of your dreadlocks because you're stealing, it's just, well, the Celts had, well, the Danes and Norwegians, the Vikings as well. But it's insane that we're allowing this insanity of cancel culture to run amok, and it's not right. We talked yesterday a little bit about Barry Weiss, the former opinion editor and chief over there at New York Times, who was bullied out of her position because she took a central position, and she was brought on specifically after 2016 to help the New York Times figure out why they were losing touch with the rest of America. And all they did was destroy her because her belief system wasn't part of the groupthink BS. It is insane. It truly is. And it's growing. And that's the fear. Like when I look at somebody like Biden, and we'll bring it to the political side of it. When I look at somebody like Biden, what worries me is when I see out there behind him, if it was just Biden that was sane and he had a ton of say, would I worry as much? No. But what's behind him and the insanity I think they're bringing with it, that's the thing that truly scares me. Because it's a lot more about firing somebody because they bought a piece of white art, and that automatically makes you a white supremacist, than it is anything else. It's about using social justice and issues to scare people, to terrify people. It's nuts. And we can't have that. That's not what we're about. We're already killing the free thought and exchange of ideas on college campuses and elsewhere. We need to bring that back. Everybody wants to talk about diversity. Look first and foremost in your mind. See if you find some diversity there. Because if the only thing that you know is I only believe this, and it's my way or the highway, whether it's on the right or the left, and you accept no other thought, no other idea, you will look at no other side of anything, that is bad. But when it starts to get weaponized, it's a whole nother level. 323-538-2423 at Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program as well. Car Shield. So many of us are out looking for ways to save money. And I will tell you this right now. Car Shield's amazing. Car Shield, people are holding on to their cars longer, especially in this time. So what do? Well, you get Car Shield. Rates start as low as $99 a month. Helps you with your covered repairs. Call them up, 800-CAR-6000. Use code Benson. Saves you 10% right off the bat. Explain to them exactly what you're looking for, how many miles you have on the car, what it is you're worried about that may happen to the car. Maybe it's your engine, your transmission, maybe the electronics in the car. You want that covered. They will do that for you. You get 24/7 roadside assistance, a rental car for free while your car's in the shop. The shop is the shop that you choose. Be specific. Call them up. 800-CAR-6000. Use the code Benson or go to carshield.com, carshield.com. Use code Benson. When you do, you save 10% right there. A deductible may apply. Chad Benson Show.
I can't take it anymore!
Well, get over it. It's time to forge a new path with your very own political cartographer, Chad.
I don't know how things get started, but in this day and age, it only takes one little thing, somebody to twist something. Next thing you know, it's a conspiracy theory. Case in point, Howie Mandel being held captive.
Hi, everybody. Howie Mandel here. Creativity. Just take a regular shopping bag. Just take the shopping bag and you clip the two corners off and you just take the pencil. And on the front, I write shoe stuff. Can you see it? It says shoe stuff. Then you created a bag where you can put all your shoe stuff and it's easy to reach into. Like you go, oh, where's my extra laces or stuff for my shoes? Joining in for other craft ideas.
So he's doing something crafty, and he cuts this thing out. Shoe stuff, SS. People say it's 55. And if you dial 55, that is one of those things. When you dial 55, it automatically alerts the authorities that you are in trouble. And you are in serious trouble, but you can't talk.
This might sound crazy, but in a recent TikTok video, Howie Mandel took out a random paper bag and labeled it shoe stuff. You can see in this video that he's wearing a lifeguard hoodie, and on that hoodie, it gives away where he lives, Santa Monica. But also in this video, he points to the letters SOS.
Can you see it? It says shoe stuff, shoe stuff.
If you didn't know, the letters SOS is to signal that you are in extreme danger. If you really took a closer look at this video, you can also notice that the S's look like fives, 2 5s. And if you dial the number 55, it takes you directly to the police. It shows that you're being held captive or that there's an intruder in your house and that you cannot talk.
You wonder why? Stupid rules? Because there's more stupid than anything else. I don't know if you're aware. Now, producer Phil, I'm going to ask you a serious question. Have you ever owned a shirt that had a name of a place that either you visited or potentially you were passing through and it had a different city on it?
I call it my whole wardrobe.
There you go. So, but she knows, based on the Santa Monica lifeguard sweatshirt, that this is where he lives. SOS and 55, which is not real, but whatever. People are so stupid. Oh, my goodness. And they breed. That's the scariest thing. They're stupid and they breed. Ugh. Just never, ever ends. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us, text the program. Love hearing from you. Again, another 1.3 million people today. The report is filed for unemployment last week.
This is the 17th consecutive week new claims for unemployment insurance have surpassed 1 million. Layoffs are occurring as coronavirus cases are surging in much of the country and businesses are facing renewed restrictions. And those layoffs come as a financial lifeline for the unemployed is ending. The $600 weekly payment from the federal government is scheduled to expire at the end of the month.
Yep. And they're looking to the Senate and the Republicans release their bill next week. What they would like, which will be shot down immediately, dead on arrival, the House, and then they'll go from there. So it could be a while. I have a feeling what you're going to find is reduce or eliminate unemployment benefits that you're getting from the feds. On top of that, you'll probably get another stimulus check, but you don't know. Or they could just continue to fight it out, which is always a possibility because that's what we do. 323-538-2423. At Chad Benson Show is your Twitter. Tweet at us. Text the program. Check out the Instagram. And Chad Benson Show TV over there on the YouTube. Have yourself a blessed rest of your day. We'll do it again tomorrow. What is that? Oh, it's Friday. Hi, Friday. Night, Jack.
This is the Chad Benson Show.